Can someone explain why I'm even here? I'm not wasting my time listening to this nonsense.
Trust me, you're here because you made a mess. And if you think my courtroom is nonsense, you're about to learn the hard way just how real it gets.
Dang? Real? Please. The only thing real here is how ridiculous this whole place looks.
No one inside that television courtroom had the slightest idea that they were about to witness one of the most shocking displays of arrogance ever captured on camera. It started with nothing more than the sound of heavy sneakers squeaking across polished flooring, expensive. Flashy sneakers that practically announced the arrival of a child who'd never heard the word no. The boy wearing them, 12-year-old Tyler Mason, strolled into Judge Judy's courtroom with all the swagger of a celebrity influencer. His oversized AirPods Max sat proudly on his ears like a crown. His brand new iPhone illuminated his face as he scrolled mindlessly, not even pretending to acknowledge where he was. He didn't look around. He didn't nod at the bailiff. He didn't even lift his gaze long enough to recognize the stern, sharp-eyed judge who would soon change the trajectory of his life. He simply slouched into the defendant's seat, dragging his chair across the floor like he owned the place. That single entrance, casual, careless, and dripping with attitude, was the spark that ignited a courtroom moment destined to explode across the internet. Within days, clips of Tyler's behavior would spread to every social platform imaginable, racking up more than 80 million views and sparking national conversations about respect, parenting, and the next generation's relationship with consequences. But that was later. In this moment, Tyler looked like a kid who'd wandered into a room he didn't care about, convinced that he was untouchable because a screen full of strangers liked his videos. He adjusted his designer hoodie, pushed his hair back with unnecessary flair, and kicked one foot onto the bottom rung of the table as though this were a mall food court and not a courtroom where people's lives were impacted every day. What made this case extraordinary wasn't just the disrespect, it was what came after. Tyler wouldn't simply get scolded. He wouldn't just lose a case. Judge Judy's response to him would become legendary: ruthless precision, righteous fury, and an emotional impact so sharp that even people who had never watched a courtroom show in their lives found themselves cheering. And before we get to the moment where Tyler looked Judge Judy in the eye and called her a Karen with all the misplaced confidence of someone who thought he was invincible, you need to understand the full story behind the chaos. Tyler Mason wasn't just a rude 12-year-old. He was the unfortunate result of a modern parenting style built on fear of conflict, fear of boundaries, fear of being the bad guy. His mother, Jennifer Mason, had been raising him alone since her divorce 3 years earlier. She earned steady money as a marketing coordinator, but no amount of budgeting could hide the fact that she spent most of her income feeding Tyler's every whim. If he wanted a device, she bought it. If he wanted $300 sneakers, she ordered them. If he wanted the latest gaming console, she found a way to make it happen. Tyler's TikTok account, 50,000 followers strong, was filled with videos where he mocked teachers, taunted elders, and filmed himself pulling humiliating pranks on people who couldn't fight back. He was recording his bad behavior and being rewarded for it with likes, comments, and laughing emojis that grew his ego faster than any 12-year-old could handle. His mother never intervened. In fact, whenever a teacher called home about his behavior, Jennifer defended him. She blamed the school system, blamed the old-fashioned teaching style, and insisted that Tyler was creative, expressive, and misunderstood. 4 school suspensions came and went. She excused every one of them. 3 neighbors complained about Tyler's escalating behavior. She wrote them off as uptight adults who needed to relax. In the past year alone, she had paid over $6,700 to quietly settle incidents before they turned into formal complaints. She wasn't parenting her son, she was managing him like a public relations project. But the greatest tragedy in this story wasn't Tyler. It was an elderly woman who lived next door, 72-year-old Eleanor Rodriguez, a retired teacher, a widow, a gentle soul whose entire world revolved around the garden she had cultivated for 4 decades with her late husband, Eduardo. Their roses, their flowers, their carefully tended blooms weren't just plants. They were a living love story, A reminder of the man she'd married when she was 17. A breathing, colorful memory of every year they spent together that Eduardo had planted the first rose bushes in 1983 with his bare hands. Money was tight in those early years, so he'd done every bit of the foundation work himself, spending weekend after weekend turning the dry soil into fertile ground that could support their shared dream. Over time, the garden blossomed into a sanctuary. Rare roses in impossible colors, varieties that horticulturists begged her to sell, flowers that only bloomed under precise, loving care. Even after Eduardo passed away from cancer 3 years earlier, Eleanor tended to the garden every morning from 6:30 to 10 o'clock. Those hours were sacred to her, uninterrupted. Time to talk to him, to feel connected, to remember the life they'd built. Anyone who lived on their street knew not to disturb her during those hours. It wasn't a rule, just a kindness everyone respected, everyone except Tyler. When the Masons moved in next door, the trouble began quietly. A basketball repeatedly thumping against the shared fence as Eleanor tried to tend to her roses. Loud music blaring early in the morning. Bits of trash tossed over the fence. Annoying, but nothing she couldn't handle. She'd spent 30 years working with middle schoolers. She knew kids could be rude sometimes, but then things escalated. Tyler noticed her slight accent, soft traces of her first language, Spanish. He started filming her secretly, mocking her words, exaggerating her speech, and posting the videos online. Videos titled "Crazy Old Neighbor" or "Why Do Old People Sound Like This?" The internet loved them. Tyler loved the attention. And Jennifer? She apologized superficially, but never corrected him. Never disciplined him. Never even tried dot, and then came the morning that shattered Eleanor's world. Her roses, her life's work, her connection to Eduardo were gone. Not wilted. Not dying. Murdered. Someone had poured industrial-strength weed killer on every single bush. Every bloom destroyed. 40 years of love and dedication reduced to charred stems and shriveled petals. Eleanor fell to her knees and sobbed, like she had when her husband took his last breath. She would never have discovered the truth, except Tyler made the mistake of filming everything. He posted the video. He narrated the destruction with laughter. "Let's see how she cries tomorrow," he joked into the camera. 50,000 followers watched him do it. 3 neighbors sent Eleanor the video. For the first time in her entire peaceful life, she filed a lawsuit, and that is how Tyler Mason, the boy who thought he was untouchable, found himself slouching in front of Judge Judy, totally unaware that the storm he had created was about to fall directly on him. Asterisk. Tyler strutted out of the judge's chambers like he had just won some secret victory. His chin was lifted, his shoulders back, and every step screamed arrogance. The courtroom door hadn't even fully swung shut behind him when he blurted out, loud enough for half the hallway to hear, "She thinks she's so tough, please. These judges act powerful because someone gave them a robe." Jordan froze mid-step, his eyes widening. "Tyler, bro, are you serious?" Tyler threw his hands up as if the whole thing was a minor annoyance. "What? I'm just saying the truth. She's probably used to people bowing down. I don't do that." Meanwhile, Judge Judy, behind the half-closed door, paused for a fraction of a second. She heard the tone, the disrespect, the carelessness. But instead of reacting with anger, her expression hardened into something cold and deliberate. She had seen this type of entitled cruelty far too many times. She slowly turned back toward the bench, straightening her robe, preparing for what she knew would be a long session. Back in the hallway, Jordan grabbed Tyler's sleeve. "Dude, calm down. She literally just told you to watch your attitude." Tyler yanked his arm away. "Relax, I'm not scared of some old lady with a gavel." Jordan stared at him, stunned. "Do you ever listen to yourself?" But Tyler was already marching back inside the courtroom, swagger reloaded, ego fully inflated. He didn't see the staff exchanging uneasy glances. He didn't see the bailiff subtly adjusting his stance. And he definitely didn't see Judge Judy sitting there, waiting for him, with the quiet patience of someone who had dealt with far more dangerous people than spoiled teenagers. The moment Tyler stepped in, he locked eyes with Mrs. Oakley. The elderly woman sat on the witness bench, her pale hands trembling slightly, her bag clutched tightly in her lap. She looked small, fragile, out of place. Tyler smirked, whispering under his breath, "This is the lady who cried?" Pathetic. Mrs. Oakley heard the words. Her gaze lowered. Her shoulders curled inward. Judge Judy's voice cut through the air sharply. "Mr. Tyler, step forward." Tyler sauntered toward the stand, as if he were walking onto a stage, expecting applause. He didn't even try to hide the cockiness in his grin. Mrs. Oakley looked up at him, her expression confused and wounded, as though she truly couldn't understand how someone so young could be so cruel. Judge Judy glanced at her. "Ma'am, do you need a moment?" Mrs. Oakley shook her head. "I'll be okay, Your Honor. I didn't expect him to look at me like that. Like I'm nothing." Tyler snorted loudly. "Oh, come on. Stop playing the victim." The bailiff stiffened. Judge Judy's head lifted slowly. Her stare aimed directly at Tyler. "You will not address her unless I ask you to. Do I make myself clear?" Tyler shrugged, mumbling, "Whatever." Jordan buried his face in his hands. "We're dead," he whispered. Judge Judy held up the case file. "Mrs. Oakley, please tell the court in your own words what happened that day." The elderly woman nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "I was coming out of the grocery store. My hands were full, and I was trying to get my keys out. These boys were hanging around the parking lot, loud, laughing, pushing each other. But I didn't think anything of it. Then one of them, she motioned toward Tyler, ran past me. He bumped into me so hard I fell backward." Tyler rolled his eyes dramatically. "It was an accident." Judge Judy raised her hand to silence him. Mrs. Oakley swallowed. "When I fell, my hip hit the ground. I couldn't get up right away. And when I asked for help, he laughed. He actually laughed, Your Honor." Tyler couldn't resist chiming in. "You're making it sound like I pushed you on purpose." Mrs. Oakley's voice cracked. "You didn't even stop. I had to call for help. A stranger helped me, not you." Judge Judy turned her focus fully on Tyler. Her tone sharpened. "Is that accurate?" Tyler shrugged again. "Maybe. I don't remember every old person I walked past." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Even the bailiff shot him a look that could have drilled holes into steel. Judge Judy leaned back in her chair, studying him carefully. "Interesting." Tyler frowned. "What's interesting?" "That you talk so confidently about what you do and don't remember. Almost as if you only care about your own convenience." Tyler smirked. "I mean, yeah." Jordan nearly fainted. Mrs. Oakley pressed her trembling hands together. "I never wanted to be here. I'm not someone who likes confrontation. I want him to understand that what he did hurt me. Not just physically." Her eyes glistened, and she wiped them gently. "He scared me. And when he laughed, I felt like I didn't matter. Like I was invisible." Tyler simply stared, unbothered. Judge Judy's gaze didn't leave him for a second. "Mr. Tyler, what do you have to say for yourself?" He leaned one elbow on the witness stand, as if bored. "Honestly, I think she's exaggerating because I'm young. Everyone always blames young people for everything. This is overblown." Mrs. Oakley flinched, hurt once again. Jordan couldn't take it anymore. "Tyler, bro, can you just stop talking?" Tyler scoffed. "No, I'm defending myself." Judge Judy tapped her pen sharply on the bench. "Let me be absolutely clear. Your behavior today has already spoken louder than any defense you think you're making." Tyler smirked, completely missing the point. "So, am I done?" Judge Judy inhaled slowly, a calculated, icy breath. "No, Mr. Tyler, you are far from done." Silence draped over the courtroom. Mrs. Oakley looked at the judge with pleading eyes. "Your Honor, I just want honesty. That's all." Judge Judy nodded. "You'll have it?" Then she turned her gaze to the bailiff. "Please bring in the store surveillance footage." Tyler's smirk faded. Judge Judy continued, her tone calm but loaded with implication. "You see, Mr. Tyler, people often remember less than they think they do. Fortunately, cameras do not suffer from selective memory." Jordan whispered urgently, "Bro, tell me you didn't." But Tyler's jaw had already dropped, and for the first time since the hearing began, He looked afraid. Asterisk, the courtroom lights dimmed slightly as the bailiff rolled in the monitor. Tyler's posture stiffened. A single bead of sweat slid down his neck, but he tried to wipe it away casually, hoping nobody noticed the sudden shift in his confidence. Judge Judy folded her hands. Play the footage. The screen flickered for a moment before the grocery store's parking lot came into view. Grainy, but clear enough. Mrs. Oakley appeared on frame, slowly walking toward her car with 2 heavy bags. She paused, reaching into her purse. Then there he was, Tyler, laughing, sprinting across the parking lane, shoving Jordan playfully. But the shove pushed him too close to Mrs. Oakley. The video showed it perfectly. Tyler slammed into her shoulder. Hard up, Mrs. Oakley stumbled backward, the bags flying. One rolled down the pavement. The other burst open, groceries scattering everywhere. But that wasn't the worst part. Tyler didn't just keep running, he looked back at her. And laughed. A cold, hollow laugh. The sound wasn't in the video, but everyone in the courtroom could imagine it. Jordan's recorded self froze for a moment, startled, then moved toward her. He actually bent down, reaching to help until Tyler grabbed him by the shirt and pulled him away. Saying something no one could hear. Jordan in real life buried his head in his hands. Oh God. Tyler's face drained of color. Okay, hold on. That looks worse than. Judge Judy raised one finger. Quiet. The footage continued. Mrs. Oakley tried to get up, wincing. She reached out, calling for help. Other bystanders rushed over Tyler. He shrugged off, shrugging her off like she was nothing. When the video ended, nobody breathed. Even the spectators were stunned into silence. Judge Judy leaned forward. Mr. Tyler, would you like to explain why your memory seems different from what we just saw? Tyler's voice cracked slightly. It all happened fast. I didn't know she fell that hard. Jordan whispered loudly, Dude, you looked right at her. I did it. Tyler snapped. Judge Judy hit him with a stare sharper than steel. Mr. Tyler, your indifference is far more concerning than the incident itself. Asterisk, Mrs. Oakley dabbed her eyes with a napkin. I didn't expect them to help me if they didn't want to. But laughing while I was on the ground, that's what broke me. Tyler swallowed hard. Look, I didn't mean anything by it. People fall. It happens. Gasps echoed again. Jordan nearly choked. Bro, stop talking. But Tyler couldn't stop. Every word dug the hole deeper. Judge Judy tapped her pen rhythmically. Your behavior suggests a complete lack of empathy for an elderly woman who could have been seriously injured. Tyler tried to steady himself. She didn't die or anything. Jordan slapped his own forehead. Mrs. Oakley's voice trembled. Do you think that makes it okay? Tyler shifted his weight, looking desperate. No, I'm saying it's not like I destroyed her life. Judge Judy's eyes narrowed. And yet your arrogance today suggests you would have walked in here, blaming her even if she had been more severely injured. Tyler fell quiet, for the first time. Truly quiet. Jordan finally stepped forward. Your Honor, I just want to say something. Judge Judy nodded. Go ahead. Jordan faced Mrs. Oakley directly. I'm sorry. I should have helped you. I wanted to. You were clearly hurt and I knew it. I followed him. He motioned to Tyler. I was stupid. Mrs. Oakley nodded gently. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tyler glared at him. Seriously, dude? Jordan turned on him. What? Bro, you expect me to lie for you? We saw the footage. Judge Judy interjected. Mr. Jordan, you may step back. Thank you for your honesty. Jordan stepped away, exhaling shakily. Judge Judy turned her full attention back to Tyler. Do you understand why we're here? Tyler rolled his eyes, though much weaker than before. Because she's upset. No, Judge Judy snapped. We're here because actions have consequences. And your refusal to acknowledge responsibility is deeply troubling. Asterisk. Tyler took a breath, trying to resurrect the swagger. Look, I said sorry, kind of. You haven't apologized at all. Judge Judy corrected. Tyler hesitated. I didn't know I had to say it in a certain way. Jordan whispered, the sky is impossible. Judge Judy pressed her palms together. Mr. Tyler, I'm going to ask you one final time. Do you understand the harm you caused? Tyler clenched his jaw. I guess, you guess. Judge Judy echoed sharply. Mrs. Oakley looked away. Defeated. Jordan shook his head in disbelief. The courtroom buzzed with whispers. Tyler sensed the tension rising and blurted. Okay, fine. She fell. People fall every day. Why are we acting like I committed a crime? The room went dead silent. Judge Judy slowly removed her glasses and set them on the bench. A gesture everyone in America recognized. The calm before a storm. She spoke quietly. Too quietly, Mr. Tyler. What you did wasn't a simple accident. What you did afterward, the laughter, the disregard, the mockery reveals who you are when you think no one is watching. Asterisk. Tyler swallowed, his throat tight. And today? Judge Judy continued. You repeated the same disrespect. Toward me, toward this court, toward the truth. Her voice rose with controlled power. This isn't about a fall. It's about your character. Tyler fidgeted. Okay, but no, Judge Judy said, cutting him off. You will not dismiss what happened again. He exhaled hard, frustrated. So, what do you want from me? Judge Judy leaned forward, her gaze unrelenting. Honesty, accountability, humanity. Tyler's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Jordan whispered, Just apologize, ma'am, before this gets worse. But Tyler shook his head defiantly. I'm not saying sorry just because everyone wants me to. Mrs. Oakley's breath hitched. You still think I'm lying? Tyler faced her. I think you're overreacting. The tension snapped like a rope pulled too tight. Judge Judy turned to the bailiff. Bring in the medical report. Tyler blinked. Medical report. Asterisk. The bailiff handed a folder to the bench. Judge Judy opened it. Mrs. Oakley sustained a deep bruise, sprained wrist, and hip swelling significant enough to require medication. She lifted her eyes. She was in pain for weeks. Tyler stared at the floor. Asterisk. For the first time, shame not pride flashed across his face. If only for a moment, Judge Judy spoke softly, deliberately. Actions have consequences, Mr. Tyler, and yours are about to arrive. The courtroom fell utterly silent because everyone knew. Her verdict was coming, and Tyler wasn't ready. Asterisk. Judge Judy closed the medical file with a quiet thud that seemed to echo through the entire room. Tyler swallowed. His palms had begun to sweat, and he rubbed them against his jeans, trying to keep his composure. But the swagger that had carried him through most of the hearing was fading. Rapidly. Mrs. Oakley folded her hands in her lap, staring at them as if afraid to look up again. The courtroom felt heavy, thick with the weight of the truth that had been laid bare. Judge Judy leaned back slightly. Mr. Tyler, do you see now that this wasn't just a fall? Tyler hesitated. I didn't know she got that hurt. You didn't know, Judge Judy repeated slowly, because you didn't care to know. Tyler glanced toward Jordan, maybe expecting backup, but Jordan didn't look at him. Instead, Jordan stared straight ahead, arms folded tightly. Looking defeated and embarrassed to even be associated with him, Judge Judy continued, her voice calm but unyielding. Even now, after seeing the footage, after hearing the medical report, your instinct is to defend your ego instead of reflecting on your behavior. Tyler ran a hand through his hair. Look, okay, maybe I was being a little... whatever, but I didn't push her. It wasn't intentional. Mrs. Oakley finally raised her eyes. We all make mistakes, young man. But laughing at someone who's hurt, that's not a mistake. That's cruelty. Tyler's face twisted. You don't know me. Jordan muttered, bro. She knows enough. Judge Judy straightened slightly. Whether you intended it or not, your behavior afterward was intentional. Your dismissiveness today has been intentional. Your disrespect intentional. Tyler snapped. Okay, I get it. Everyone thinks I'm the bad guy. Mr. Tyler, Judge Judy said sharply, this is not about what people think. This is about what is true. The room went silent again. A long, uncomfortable silence. Finally, Judge Judy tapped her pen on the desk once, twice, 3 times before speaking. We are going to hear from the responding medic who arrived on the scene. Tyler's head shot up. Another witness? Yes, she replied. Because despite your efforts to minimize this, the truth remains larger than your excuses. The bailiff opened the side door and invited in a man dressed in a medic uniform. He walked with confident steps and took his place at the stand. Judge Judy nodded. State your name and occupation. Evan Richards. Emergency medical technician? I responded to a call outside the grocery store that afternoon. Judge Judy turned to him. Please tell the court what you observed. Evan glanced at Mrs. Oakley with a nod of recognition. When I arrived, she was visibly shaken, holding her hip. Her groceries were scattered. A couple of bystanders were helping gather them. She told me a teenager had collided with her and laughed. Tyler huffed. She told you that? Evan continued without looking at him. Yes, and her pain level was significant. When I examined her, she winced with nearly every movement. I recommended she go to urgent care immediately. Judge Judy nodded. Thank you, Mr. Richards. Tyler blurted, but accidents happen. Why are we acting like I beat her up? Judge Judy's expression sharpened. Because what you did next was not an accident. Compassion is a choice. You chose the opposite. Tyler clenched his jaw. I said I didn't realize. You realized enough to laugh. Judge Judy cut in. Tyler froze, his mouth open. But no retort came out because the truth had finally cornered him. Mrs. Oakley's voice wavered. I didn't come here for revenge. I came because someone needs to tell him. Someone needs to stop him before he hurts someone else worse. Tyler gently shook his head, fighting frustration. Everyone keeps acting like I'm a monster. Jordan looked at him, tired. Ty, man. Look at yourself. The problem isn't just what happened outside the store. It's how you acted afterward. And today, you're doubling down instead of just apologizing. Tyler snapped back. I'm not apologizing for something blown out of proportion. Mrs. Oakley flinched at the volume of his voice. Judge Judy slammed her gavel once, not for order, but to make her point pierce deeper. Mr. Tyler. Enough. Tyler froze. You have not shown a shred of understanding or remorse, she said firmly. Not 1 ounce. It is deeply concerning. A beat passed, then 2, then 3. Tyler exhaled shakily. Look, I don't know what else to say. Judge Judy leaned forward, eyes burning with authority. Then I'll say it for you. She stood up. The room held its breath. Your behavior is unacceptable. Your disregard for this woman's pain is unacceptable. Your attitude throughout this hearing is unacceptable. Tyler looked down, shoulders sinking. Judge Judy continued. You may think you're invincible because you're young, or because your father holds a position of influence, or because you've never been held accountable before. But that ends today, Jordan whispered, finally. Tyler shot him a glare, but it was weak, empty, because he knew Jordan was right. Judge Judy spoke to Mrs. Oakley gently. Ma'am, thank you for your courage in coming here. Then to Tyler, I am ordering a mandatory youth accountability program, 90 days of weekly attendance. Additionally, you will perform community service, specifically in elderly care environments. You will also write a formal letter of apology. Tyler blinked rapidly, stunned. 90 days? Judge Judy didn't flinch. Yes, and consider yourself fortunate, because I could have imposed far more severe consequences. Tyler's voice rose. But this is crazy. No, Judge Judy replied calmly. What was crazy was thinking you could walk away from this with a smirk. Jordan tried not to laugh. Bro, she got you. Tyler turned to him, outraged. Whose side are you on? Jordan raised his hands. The side that's not stupid. Judge Judy tapped her desk again. Mr. Tyler, you will meet with counselors who specialize in empathy development. You will attend restitution meetings, and you will confront the reality of how your actions impact others. Tyler looked at the floor, breathing hard, and if you fail to comply, Judge Judy added, the consequences will escalate. The finality in her voice struck him like a punch. Mrs. Oakley exhaled. Relief washing over her face, Judge Judy sat down again. Court will reconvene shortly for final statements. The gavel cracked. Tyler stood there, stunned. his arrogance collapsing around him like shattered glass. For the first time that day, he realized he wasn't untouchable. Asterisk, the courtroom slowly settled after the break, but Tyler remained frozen in place, as if his mind hadn't caught up to reality. The consequences Judge Judy laid out hovered over him like a storm cloud he couldn't outrun. Jordan returned to his seat quietly, glancing at his friend every few seconds. "Man, you really did it this time." Tyler didn't answer. He looked smaller, now shoulders slumped, eyes unfocused. His earlier arrogance had cracked, leaving behind something unfamiliar. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. Maybe both. The bailiff announced, "All rise." Judge Judy entered once more, calm but sharp as ever. The room stood, then sat again as she settled behind the bench. "We will now proceed with closing remarks," she said, adjusting her robe. Mrs. Oakley shifted forward in her chair. She looked tired, almost fragile, but her voice remained steady. "Your Honor, thank you. I don't want this young man's life ruined. I just want him to understand that a little empathy can prevent so much pain. Especially for people like me. We're not as strong as we used to be." Tyler's eyes flickered toward her, but quickly fell back to the table. Mrs. Oakley continued, "I truly hope he learned something from all this." She paused, then exhaled shakily. "That's all?" The courtroom murmured softly. Her words weren't harsh, weren't vengeful, just hopeful. And somehow, that hit harder than any insult could. Judge Judy nodded respectfully. "Thank you, Mrs. Oakley." Then she turned to Tyler. Asterisk, "Mr. Tyler, this is your opportunity to speak. I suggest you choose your words carefully." Tyler swallowed hard. He stood slowly, hands trembling slightly. For once, he didn't puff out his chest or roll his eyes. He stared down at the floor, gathering his breath. His voice cracked before he forced it steady. "I don't really know what to say." Jordan whispered, "Start with sorry, genius." Asterisk, Tyler closed his eyes for a moment. "Mrs. Oakley, I'm sorry." The words finally came out, not smooth, not confident, but real. "I honestly didn't think about how much it hurt you, or how scared you were. I was being stupid, and immature, and selfish." The room grew quiet. "I shouldn't have laughed," he continued, "or walked away. And everything I said today, trying to act tough, it was just me not wanting to look weak." He looked up, eyes red around the edges. "But I was wrong. Really wrong." Mrs. Oakley nodded gently, her expression softening. Judge Judy observed him carefully, not impressed. Not convinced, but acknowledging the shift. Tyler continued, "I'll do the program. Whatever I have to do, I'll do it." Jordan stared at him, stunned. Wow, actual growth. Didn't think I'd see it. Tyler couldn't help but glare at him, though weakly, but he turned back to the judge. Asterisk, "I don't want to be this guy forever," he said quietly. Judge Judy folded her hands. "Mr. Tyler, it takes more strength to admit a fault than to deny one. You should remember that." Tyler nodded. "And remember this as well," she added. "The consequences I've given you are not punishments, they're opportunities. Opportunities to change, to grow, to understand the world doesn't revolve around you." Tyler nodded again, slower this time. Mrs. Oakley wiped a small tear with her thumb. Not from sadness this time, from relief.